Page 459. The time does not stand still, and does not remain the same, because it has been going since the primal beginning of the creation, and all its myriad-fold creations. Thus, since time immemorial, yesterday, today, tomorrow, in thousands of years, and in all future, until the end of the time, when the creation together, with all its creations, contracts, and lies itself in slumber in order to appear in the new awakening as primal creation. You, humankind of Earth, you appeared at some point in the time and were created through the activity of the creational laws and recommendations. And to you it is given to gain out of the womb of the creation, wherethrough you can learn and evolve in the consciousness, and thus you can create true love, knowledge, and wisdom in yourselves, as well as peace, freedom, and harmony, in order to spread all this outwards amongst your whole humankind. And truly, since the beginning of all things of the creation, everything remains stored in the collections of the time, in the storage banks, whatever it may be, because all and everything, even the smallest speck of dust of a weight from every one of you human beings, is saved therein, so that not even a single iota ever goes lost. And thus, you humankind of Earth, as you yourselves developmentally change in your current life, and in all your many new personalities, which you were since time immemorial and always in new births, so also the creation itself changes developmentally, by creating in itself ever more love, knowledge, and wisdom. This happens by it learning through your spirit form, which gives life to you, and evolves itself spiritually by integrating into itself everything that you create in terms of love, knowledge, and wisdom. And then your spirit form will one day unite with the creation itself, long after it no longer requires a human body, but evolves further only as a pure spirit form. Then the creation takes in from it everything that your spirit form has learned through your love, your knowledge, and your wisdom over many reincarnations. Through that which the creation integrates into itself, it evolves itself spiritually, just like you, as human beings do, with regard to your consciousness. You, humankind of Earth, you do not always remain the same ones, whether you are now young or already in the old age, because you developmentally change in your inner nature, in your individuality, in the Wesen, as well as in your consciousness, and on and in your body, because everything is included into the developmental change, and it cannot be circumvented. Even your spirit form and the creation itself are included in the change through the evolution and the enrichment of love, knowledge, and wisdom, and therefore are not permanently in their condition. Thus, the truth, the knowledge, and the wisdom are also included into the developmental change, and indeed in the wise that they become ever more deep-grounding and more deep-reaching, the deeper you get into them, because through your searching, researching, and fathoming, you continuously gain further cognitions and cognizances. You have, since time immemorial, been searching for the truth, but you constantly ask yourselves what the truth really is, because that which you today assume to be the truth, you will already tomorrow recognize it again as an erroneous assumption, but only because you have not really found the truth, but only a partial truth, or something that you have assumed as belief, i.e. as fiction, and which has no proof power. Recognize, truth is not belief, but truth is certainty in recognition of the reality. Therefore, you must strive to find the real truth, which does not leave open any doubt and is not subject to any erroneous assumptions. But you have to consider, though, that even in erroneous assumptions, there may be truth grains to discover that can lead to the effective truth. Truth is that all cognitions and revelations permanently change their forms in this wise, and that an achieved truth always brings with it further factors that must be researched and fathomed, and logically lead to new cognitions, through which the truth deepeningly widens itself and continuously becomes increasingly, relatively, absolutely, fully developed. Therefore, your life continues with the constant searching, researching, and fathoming, in which case you ripen through the whole developmental change, and change of the learning, and the winning of cognitions, knowledge, practical experiences, and their living, and become steadily wiser. The truth in and of itself remains always the same in its core, does not change, and is eternal, but it varies for you human beings in its depth, in the wise that it is divided into uncountable steps, i.e., levels, that must be climbed up one after the other. This can be compared to school classes. So the first class, i.e., step, i.e., level, is the lowest. Then, following an exam, the next class must be climbed up, then the next one, and then the next one after that, until the highest class, which in the consciousness evolution corresponds to the relative, absolute, full development. The truthly truth of all truth, the creational truth of the laws and recommendations, thus always remains the same in the depth of its core, does not change, and is not subject to any developmental change. But to reach this core, you humankind of Earth, must begin at the lowest level of the truth cognition, and slowly work yourselves deeper and deeper into the truth, layer by layer, step by step, level by level, through which your truth cognition will steadily widen and become more and more compact, and you will constantly become more truth-knowing. Since the creational truth of all truth is eternal, and is relatively absolutely fully developed in its core, as well as in and of itself, so it is, you, humankind of Earth, in your earthly sense, not comprehensible in its full deepness. Therefore it can also never be pure and final for you, but only relatively, absolutely, fully developed, according to what you are able to create, in terms of effective truth, according to your intellect and rationality. In order that you can recognize and understand more of truth, it is necessary that you become more consciousness-based, i.e., that you use your consciousness more amply in an evolutive kind and wise, by being free of evil, negative, ungood, and ausgeartet thoughts and feelings. So you yourselves become the truth and live in the truth. So you are in yourselves permanently irradiated by the light of the truth. To learn the truthly truth, which you alone can find in yourselves and in the creational laws and recommendations, you do not need to arduously learn a science, and you also do not need to fear erroneous assumptions, because if you recognize the real truth, then the answer to every question becomes obvious to you in the truth itself. Yes, you gain very much more thereby, because the questions and the answers of the truth continuously widen and begin to comprise everything, because you comprehend more and more with your consciousness and live in the truth itself. And understand, you humankind of Earth, the truth of all truth is of creational nature and given through the creational laws and recommendations. And in this form, the real truth is the active, basic significance of the effective knowledge, which is far from any doubt and any unprovable fiction, i.e., a belief. Real truth is the concordance of the actual and contradictionless, uncontrovertible knowledge about the reality, which in each form excludes any belief-based, i.e., fictive imagination. The criterion of the truth is the realization of the truthful being, in which no theoretical values inhere, but solely and exclusively the reality, in which no belief, i.e., no unprovable fiction, finds any place. You, humankind of Earth, burst all your bonds of the truth unknowledgeness that hold you down, and become finally free in your consciousness, so that you may search consciously for the truth and strive for it. And if you are confronted with hindrances, then face them with joy, because they mean for you that you are on the right way, and are treading the way of the truth in yourselves, which is itself the truth and the culmination point, and on which you will find new energy and power. Look at and consider all hindrances on the way of the truth as proof stones, out of which you can learn and resolve your errors, so new cognitions and benefits grow out of them, through which you are in turn able to master any hindrances that arise with ever greater ease. Hindrances on the way of the truth are pushed in front of you, so that you learn to master them, and thereout win knowledge and wisdom, and strengthen your requisite for the rise up to the real truth. There may also be hindrances that arise as the result of a guilt, and that you must resolve through the truth recognition in order to free yourselves from it. Both forms of the hindrances bring you forwards, therefore you may not avoid them. Be rational, and do not speak of tests and strokes of fate that strike you in the life, because these serve your general progress and your consciousness evolution. Nothing happens without reason, so you must also accept fight and affliction if you want to achieve progress and evolution, since this gives you the opportunity to resolve errors and to extinguish transgressions of all kinds. And truly none of you, humankind of Earth, can be released from even a minute speck of dust of a weight of errors and transgressions. Therefore, you must work up everything, and direct it into the lines of the rightness and of the truth. Consider that the running circle of the becoming and passing is anchored in the creational laws, and is absolutely unmovable. So also is the becoming and passing of the errors and the transgressions that you commit and that are revealed to you through the learning, so that you can resolve and extinguish them and light up the darkness in you. And if this were not given so through the creational laws and recommendations, then the smallest deviation therefrom would bring all life to extinguishment and destroy the entire universe, including everything existent. Truly, those amongst you, you humankind of Earth, you who have very much to clear up from your life, be it from today or out of the past, you shall not be faint-hearted, just as you also must not be horrified by the redemption of your guilt, because if you truthfully turn to the truth, and are willing to resolve your errors and transgressions, then you can consolingly and joyfully begin with freeing yourselves from the bad, evil, negative, irresponsible, conscienceless, unrighteous, and unfair in all things, so that you can therein, without worries and without a bad conscience, in honesty, turn to that which is rightful, good, and righteous, conscientious, responsible, as well as positive and fair, so you have a good conscience. Consider at all times that you can always create an equalization through your energy and its power, and through the honest will and motivated volition, through which other and positive thought forms, and out of them other and better feelings, come to life in your consciousness, which as strong weapons make you capable of fighting victoriously against everything dark in you, and of freeing yourselves from the burden and heaviness of the truth on knowledge. The energy and power of your thoughts and feelings, as well as of your will and volition, is for many of you an unexpected might that attracts all energies and powers of the same kind like a magnet. And these attracted energies and powers grow ever stronger and unite in turn with similar or equally directed consciousness-based mights that act backwards and return to the point of origin, and thus in turn strike the sender of the thoughts and feelings, and thus you, who are senders and receivers, will be raised up to the good and the well-being, or you will be cast down and sink ever deeper in your own mud and dirt, depending on how you, as originators of the whole, determine and bring about everything.